to what Arty Noobs with general disturbance. This is the M41 HMC, otherwise known as the Gorilla. It's a Tier 5 American SPG. It's located on the defending spawn of Steps Assault, and it's under the command of Purple Play. Well, I haven't got the full name out there, but you can see it. PurplePlayersLoveArty. PurplePlayersLoveArty. I'm not sure that's true. There are quite a few Purple players who do love Arty, and I think we can list them on one hand. Well, we can some anyway. Okay, well, battle started, and he's got to defend the cap area for the next 10 minutes. He's got a 155mm howitzer capable of 500 alpha, and it will penetrate through 38mm of armour. And he's expecting the first target or victim to come from the north. Now I wonder if he can do as well as Soapy Line with her first shot from a GW Tiger P, which was absolutely hilarious. I'm sure you've probably seen the video, but she doesn't play Arty that often, only twice a year. And she actually mentioned that in the video. And well, on the first time she plays it, after a considerable amount of time, she wipes out a strip with just one shot. Yes, very painful for the strip driver. That was equally painful for the Jackson, who is now out of the game. One big hit, 105 hit points, and he gets taken out immediately afterwards, so he got the stun assist. Now this little Arty has got a standard reload of 23.97 seconds. I think that we're seeing a reload time of something just north of 20 seconds. We didn't get to see where that shell went, and obviously I'll give the same. Well, somebody actually compared me to whipping somebody with wet spaghetti by continually reminding them that they should look at the targets when they hit them. Well, it's really because this is a video, and if you want people to see what you do, then it actually does behove you to show what you're doing and not just take it on blind faith that you actually did get a hit on the target. If you don't show the shell actually going in on the enemy, we can't tell that you did actually hit it unless we can actually see the results. And of course it's interesting when the shell does hit the target. That looks very good. Well, it landed right where he aimed it. So I suspect that he probably did damage that guy. Found a Tiger 1 this time, and right up on the railway line is a T57? T67. They've got very thin armour. And the Tiger 1 has turned himself around to try and run away. And as a result, he does get a critical hit and stunned. Are we going to get some stun assist? No, unfortunately not. The Tiger 1 is wiped out. He's eliminated. What I do like is that Purple Players, as I'll call him, actually is utilising his shells as quickly as he can to fire out at the enemy, and that of course maximises the amount of shells he fires during the game and gives him a good chance of getting a Confederate medal. I've always found that the more shells you put out, the more chances you've got of getting a medal. Even, I mean, a Confederate, which proves that you have done your job properly. Rounds out straight away. He got some stun. There's a good chance he might get some stun assist off that one. In the meantime, he's noticed an AT-15A, which is a British assault SPG. Well, it's not an Arty, it is a self-propelled gun, but an assault gun. And, well, he's been located over on the east side, one of the precursors to the Tortoise, and just got a direct hit. So he won't know until the end of the game if he did get that one. KV-1. Sitting in the dip there. I think he's decided he's not going to go for that one. But we do have a Hellcat up here, and he's still reasonably healthy. Just let it settle. Changed his mind. I would have put the shell in there, actually. I would have put that shell in there regardless of the Hellcat, because even if it was near, it would have splashed him, and unfortunately all he did was put a shell near the KV-1 now. The AT-15A has a lot of armor, so chance of actually doing any damage to him is rather slim. But another thing PurplePlayer's doing, which I like, is he's lining up the shot and getting ready whilst he's still loading, so that he can then fire the round out. 22.4 seconds is the reload time he's got, which is about a second and a half down on the actual time by the book. He does get some damage. Now, will the Super Hellcat be able to get in time? And yes, he does, so we're getting some stun assist, but we won't get any more. We might get damage assist if he takes him out. And we did get the damage assist, and it came from the VK3001H, who managed to get the kill shot. Okay, slightly to the north, SU-152. It's a tier 6 game, by the way. Tier 6 game with tier 5 tanks in it, and that means obviously he's going to get extra XP for all of the higher tier tanks that he attacks. And there's quite a few in there. Actually, it's a tier 7 game, actually, not tier 6. The AT-15A is tier 7. Should have remembered that. So he is bottom tier, and he could earn a lot of extra XP for this battle. You get 10% extra for each higher tier vehicle. So if you hit a tier 7, you're getting 20% extra XP for all the damage you do to that tier 7. And if it's only a tier 6 tank, you only get 10% extra. But it all adds up. The more damage you do to higher tier tanks in a game like this, it really does give you a much higher result. Rounds out, looks good. It is good. It's a direct hit on the SU-152. You got 263 off the shot, 229 off a stun assist afterwards. Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens to the M41 HMC, because it basically shares the same gun as on the M44. As you know, the M44 is going to be nerfed on loading time, and if they're going to nerf that, they'll probably have to nerf this one as well, and say, okay, well, it's a 155mm howitzer. It's the same howitzers we're seeing on the M44, so should we actually nerf it? And that's... I just hope they don't. Rounds out. And he gets some more damage off the T-3485. He's the last one, and he's gone! And that's the end of the game. So he got the stun assist at the end. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the first ace tanker for PurplePlayersLoveArty in the M41 HMC. You can tell it's the first one because he got the scroll underneath. You only get that the first time, so this is his first ace. He also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 10 in total. And he also got a Confederate, yes, because he was pumping out those shells as fast as he could to do the damage, and it really does work, I promise you. If you don't diddle-daddle about putting a shell in, and I would still say, send in some shells on blind targets. If you've seen the target there, say like that Hellcat, then you might catch somebody whilst they're napping, whilst they're sitting up there behind the rock thinking they're fine, and a round comes in and really wakes them up. He managed to get 2,454 experience, or win 8 off that one, sorry, not experience points, 2454, which is Unicum standard, just below Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at the team score and see where he was. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in that game. In fact, nobody got a high caliber because the highest damage was 1,948 hit points. The second highest damage, well, that was the Nashorn, by the way. The IS managed to get 1,939. And yes, Purple Players managed to get 1,637, just beating the SU-152 that he hit during the game. He got 1,611. When it came to kills, I'm afraid he didn't get any kills at all, which puts him further down the table. The highest scorer was the Panzer T-25, who managed 5 kills, 1/3 the enemy team. 3 kills went to the Nashorn, 2 kills went to the IS, the T-3485, the VK3001H, who also picked up a Lever Slayer's medal, so he was killing high-tier opponents as well. and only one player on the enemy team managed to get more than one kill, and that was their SU-152. When it came to base XP, he's in a much better position because the Panzer III Ausrung K, which is a low-tier medium tank, actually managed to do 1029 on the base XP, mainly because he did a fair amount of damage, even though he was very low tier, tier 5. I think that's because he was actually doing spotting as well. Yes, look at that. 1,543 hit points of spotting. So he benefited from the spotting mechanic on that one. Whereas Purple Players actually did well as well. He's the only other player to get over 1,000. He got 1,010. And the reason he got his score was down to the fact he did 1,030 of stun assist. And yes, that was very welcome. The third player, who didn't get under over 1,000 but got close, the other Panzer T25 did 996 in that game after those 5 kills. But I don't think he did as much stun. No, he didn't do as much spotting in that one. That's why he didn't come out as well. But anyway, let's have a look at the detail. 15 shots fired. That's a lot for an M41 in this sort of battle, especially when you consider it's only 10 minutes long. And in tier 5's battles, they have been known to go the full 15 minutes, although it is rare. But if they do go the full 15 minutes, you can imagine how many shells you've managed to get off. I mean, the vehicle only carries 27 rounds of ammo, but if you're lasting the full 15 minutes, then I expect that, yeah, you would get through 4 rounds a minute, wouldn't you? So you would actually probably run out of ammo during the last couple of minutes of the game. He also got 4 direct hits on the enemy, 15 splash as well, 1,637 hit points, all of it at more than 300 meters, damaged 8 of the enemy. Didn't get any kills, but of course that contributed to him getting the Confederate. 477 stun damage assist and 1,030 stun assist. So yes, those two combined, actually about 1,500 overall is over 1,500 overall, is very, very welcome, and it shows that yes, he did do a fair amount. Almost, in fact, I'm not sure. Was it slightly more than the one who actually did better, the Panzer III? He did 1,543, and yes, Purple Players did 1,507. Yep. So yeah, he did. The Panzer III Ausrung K did do more, but not by much. And of course, it's because it was a combination of damage by stun and also by damage assist, where he actually took out the tracks of the enemy, and that enabled the enemy, his teammate, to actually get the damage. I think that was the AT-15A. He also caused 15 stuns during that game as well. On a free-to-play account, he earned 32,477 credits, 16,239 from personal reserves, 48,716 altogether, and after ammunition resupply, 41,141 credits profit. Not bad from a free-to-play account. He got 30 bonds out of that one for an achievement, and 1,010 base XP plus 505 from personal reserves, and took away 1,515 experience points altogether. Let's have a quick look at the armor profile. Oh, is that the wrong one? It is the wrong one. That's better. Yeah, I knew I was uploading to, at that very moment, to Rumble. That's why he picked up that. It was the wrong screen. Okay, the M41 HMC is basically a chaffy hull with the engine moved up to the front, or to the middle of the vehicle really, more than anything. And the rear of the vehicle is where they've put the howitzer. And of course the ammo store is on the back of the vehicle as well. You can see that really it looks good with that red colour, but it's not. It's actually a false picture, because look at the armour. It's only 12.7 millimeters. It's very, very thin indeed. The whole vehicle is a light tank, so it's not designed to protect it from the armour. In fact, any HE round will actually damage an M41 HMC because it's an exposed and open SPG. So the crew are going to be damaged or hurt by any shell landing nearby. If we go to the live model, it turns green. Yes, of course, it turns green because any shell that hits it is going to go through and do damage. So yes, it's not very strong. Let's have a quick look at the modules. And here you can see that the engine is actually mounted right in the middle of the tank with 2 fuel tanks either side, driver at the front on the right hand side, driver's mate on the left hand side. Apparently, yes, he does have a machine gun there as well. And you can see the ammo rack is right at the back of the machine. In fact, they have modelled it in the picture, so you can actually see it, but all the shells, and they're in a rack, and they just pull them out one after the other. We've got the tank commander is on the left-hand side of the vehicle with the radio. We've got the gunner on the right-hand side, the loader sitting behind the gunner and feeding those shells in. It is so exposed. Basically, you can just penetrate that gunner's shield and do some damage to the vehicle. So yes, it's very easy to damage anywhere on this vehicle except the tracks, I suppose, is going to do some damage. Anyway, I did mention actually why I didn't want Wargaming to nerf the M41 HMC. There's a very good reason for that. This is the entry-level Arty for the American line. So after you've come up and under their new system, you come in straight at tier 5. But if they've nerfed this, it's going to be diabolically bad to play, because the M41 is one of those Arty that does take a little while to actually learn how to use properly, especially how to dial in on a target and be patient. Because if you don't learn patience, if you keep just blasting your shells out while you've got a fully dilated reticule, your shells are never going to go near the target and you're never going to learn and move up. So it does take patience, and some of our players do have a great deal of patience. But the M41 is one of those Arty that does take even more patience. It's easier with the Gorilla and maybe even with the AMX 13105 to actually get that patience, because they fire out so quickly. But this thing has actually got quite a long reload in the 21-second mark. So you have to hope and pray that they don't change any of the specs on the 155mm howitzer, because if they do, I think we're going to see fewer players going up the American Arty line, and they will miss out on the joys of the M12, the M40, M43, and of course the M53, M55, which of course is one of the best Artys in the game. So, I hope you enjoyed that replay. It came in very late in the day, and I'd actually finished doing my my replays for the day, and I thought, oh, I won't be doing any more, and I was putting everything away, and then suddenly this one turned up on the board, and I thought, oh, well, that's quite good. That's an ace tanker, and it's a first ace tanker. So I thought, yeah, I'd do that one straight away and just slot it in for tomorrow's videos. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a very good game, and it does show some of the techniques I mentioned during the game, keeping those shells pumping out as fast as you can, aiming whilst you're still waiting for the shell to come in, so you're fully dialed in the moment it's ready to go, and that way you maximize the amount of damage you do to the enemy. Plus, of course, you can take advantage of any opportunities, but it does require you to read the battlefield and look and see what's going on, see what's the best target, which target has the thinnest armor, so you can actually do the most damage, and especially finding those targets where you think that the enemy is hiding behind a rock somewhere, and you can slot that shell in and do a maximum amount of damage to him because he's got very thin armor. That would have been lovely, actually, if he put that one in on the Hellcat and he had actually been there, rather than firing at the KV-1 and missing altogether. But there you go, you can't have everything. But well done to Purple Players Love Arty. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.